Hey everybody, welcome to Friday. Welcome to Designing Adobe XD. I am your host, Talon Wadsworth. I'm the lead designer for Adobe XD. And here with me, one of my regular guests and partners in crime on all things XD, Gayatri. Thank you for joining me this morning.
I'm glad you asked me to join you.
I always love it when you come on. We always end up talking about, of course, like we're nerds for this stuff. We hope you're all nerds as well to talk design, because we're just gonna be talking about design in XD all day long. But let's say hello to all these early arrivals in the chat here. Kita, what's up? Paco, bringing it to us from. Now I can't tell. We have a new studio. Guy, Jim, and I can't tell if if Paco's really on the other end of that or if it's Jim filling in for Paco over here. Okay, so it is Paco. All right. So Paco coming to us, not in the studio today, from remotely joining in. What's up, Paco? Byram, what's up? How's everybody doing? Ainsley, Psalm.
Evening, everyone. Steve,
evening.
are you?
Where
are you, Steve?
On the other side of the world. Yeah. There's Lee joining us in the studio today too, saying hi. What's up, everybody? Are you guys designing cool stuff today? You guys doing stuff in XD? Let us know. You got any questions about XD? Any of the new stuff? You've been testing out some of the new features? We're gonna be talking about one of those features today, diving a little deep into the weeds and some of the background and history and kind of the work that went into doing it. So that's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
So Gayatri, you, as well as your friend Hillary, you guys had a big milestone with this release.
Yeah, it's quite exciting because Hillary and I are just coming up. Like Hillary finished a year.
Yeah.
I'm coming up on finishing a year at Adobe. In a couple of months.
And you both just launched at least the first phase of major features that you've been working on for the past few months.
And I hear that it's quite an achievement. I was like, especially at a big company like Adobe.
Yeah.
Because things, and that's what I think great also about working at XD, because there is delivering those features that actually needs to happen. And we're proud of the work that we did.
Yeah, you should be.
It was a lot of cutting up of there, you kind of have this grand vision, but then you have to kind of set it to reality and phase it out, which was personally for me as a designer a great learning. But it's also so nice to see everybody kind of it go out in the world and people starting to use it.
It's a good feeling.
And especially when people understand it. I'm slowly watching on Twitter people talk about it. It's interesting.
Well, we neglected to say what it was, but tell us what I forgot. And but so before getting any further, we've been sort of hinting at this, but what is this mysterious feature that you worked on?
So I specifically worked on linked assets.
Yes.
It's the experience of being able to have a bunch of assets that you've defined in one XD file, which you might want to reuse in another file. So it's the way I would define it is a phase one of design systems.
Yeah. Really building on adding some huge collaborative features to XD.
Right.
So not only for yourself, right, but now also if you are using cloud documents, you and I can actually link to and reuse the same assets from the same document. Right,
and this kind of happened a little bit organically because we had a linked symbols workflow initially, which we have kind of made bigger and larger through linked assets for cloud documents. So here's an example. There's a design system that's been laid out. This is actually a UI kit that's available through XD. So all the assets of the design system are laid out in the assets panel. Of course, the second part of this that Hillary worked on was components. And if you guys haven't already seen all the commotion and excitement about components, you guys are missing out. It's a super powerful feature which greatly complements linked assets.
These two together, that's Hillary and Gayatri worked so closely, as well as with their PM and engineering squads, to make sure that like these two stories like really built on one another
Right.
and really unlocked like new and really powerful workflows inside of XD. You've got some people showing some love for the assets panel in the chat. Yeah, have you guys been using linked assets? Are you guys using it to maybe start to build out your design systems? Are you pulling from some and building off some UI kits like Gayatri? Like this is a beautiful one. This one was just released recently.
I believe it's for something about.
It's like an esports thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sport.
Really nice. So you can see that like this designer sort of called out all those sort of global colors and global character styles and have built all the components using the new components feature. I love that typeface. The typeface is awesome. Yeah, what is that?
Diddling Gothic.
Nice. It looks good in that context. Very nice. So yeah, so you're right. If I'm working on maybe a companion app or maybe another sort of design that's related to this, and maybe like you can basically like start a new document and then link to all of those reusable assets that the designer has sort of marked inside of this document.
Right.
Yep.
So and also what's great about this feature is that you could have created not a design system, but just worked on some designs and thrown in some assets into the assets panel. So let's get started.
Let's show it in action. All right.
Say you have an empty document. We kind of give you a little bit of a cue in your assets panel to help you get started by linking assets. The minute you hit that link button, you have access to all the documents that you might have created, but also the ones that might have been, say, shared with you. So maybe so the first thing is save your document as a cloud document.
Cloud document. It's gotta be a cloud document. Again, this is super important because as everyone who's worked maybe in the past inside of like, whether it's InDesign or any app that has the ability to sort of link to another document, if it's stored locally and that document moves, all of a sudden that link is broken.
Right.
So now that the documents are in the cloud, that means that no matter where that document is or how it's used, like Creative Cloud always knows where it is. So the link will never be broken.
Right.
Really,
so
really
as soon as you save it as a cloud document, it's available for you to use. And as you select it, you will see all the assets that came in from that document are all
just
loaded,
like ready
available
for
me to start using.
Yep.
So I could take any one of the components, start working on it.
And of course, using the new components feature with the overrides, right? You can customize this however you want.
You can customize it at any level that you would like to. Change colors. Oh, those are the new coach marks.
Hey, the new coach marks look very nice. Hey, look, there's Howard joining us. What's up, Howard? How's it going? Tim, what's up? Oksana, how's everybody doing? Pinhan, Rick, how's it going, you guys? Have you guys tried out the new linked assets feature? Mayan coming in from India. It's great. Thanks for joining us so late over there, everybody.
This is a better time for India actually now.
Oh yeah, that's true. Because kind of the evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably like 9 in the morning, 9 at night.
And everybody kind of like hanging out.
Yeah, by
TV. After the day.
Oh, I should shout out to my parents if they're watching. Hi.
Hi, Gayatri's parents.
All right, so I made like some very subtle overrides to this, but the interesting thing is, so if you right-click, say Edit Master and Source, this is where the magic happens. It highlights the source for you.
Actually shows you like where the source for that component is, where that master component is.
Right. Yeah. And if you guys haven't already picked up on this, there's this little diamond icon, which indicates that this is a master.
This is the master. Much more to come on that.
And a little bit of insight on this. There was a lot of time that was spent on Hillary's part trying to figure out what the decoration of this was going to be. But I think we ended up with a great solution.
It's looking really good.
Yeah, it's looking nice.
And we were actually yesterday talking about some of the updates to that icon.
Yes.
I'm very, very excited to of course, have to wait just a little while longer on that. But more to come on components for sure.
All right, so maybe I make some overrides, and instead of what should we make?
Let's change the typeface. I mean, that's a good one to do.
That's a simple one.
Yeah, let's try something else. Like so, again, like maybe.
Not
right about that one.
Roboto is not a bad
That's
one.
pretty good. That's solid. That's solid. You know, and you're gonna
We might need to re-rag it.
relay out some stuff here. You can what's really great is, as of course you're designing in those other files, and you need. But if either you or maybe someone you're sharing this document with changes anything, that's where the real power of the linked assets workflow comes into play here.
Right, and maybe we can even do a black one really work. Will it?
Give it a shot. Let's see how that looks. All right.
All right. Maybe we can change this as well. Where did we go?
Thanks for everybody for coming and joining us. I love that about that. Someone was mentioning that in the chat. I love seeing everybody kind of from all over the world sort of joining in. Cozy from Tokyo, what's up? I need to get back to Tokyo. I was just there. I love Tokyo. Hassan joining us from the Middle East. It's got to be super early there, Hassan, or really late, depending on how you look at it. Tin Can Dream saying hello from the couch. Backdoor. I'm so sorry. I just Backtior. Much better. She killed it.
Where can you download these UI kits? There are in right here. Add-ons, UI kits.
And I'll launch it all for you right here.
This is the one that I'm using.
Yes, it's really
Shout
nice.
out to Sid Lee. Thank you.
Sid looks great, man. Wonder if he's
it's history of hockey inspired.
Ooh.
So
nice.
Quick insight. I played hockey.
You played hockey?
Yeah.
What?
Hockey is the national sport of India, and it's not cricket.
Hockey, like ice hockey?
No.
Okay.
We don't have ice. We have an ice we only have ice in the Himalayas.
Yes,
no.
yes.
We have some
field
ice.
Hockey.
Yeah, field hockey.
You played field hockey?
Yeah.
Awesome.
But now my mother, I think, only uses the hockey stick to reach high places.
It's just gathering dust. She's using it for a variety of things. Oh,
exactly.
That's cool. Played field hockey.
Interesting.
All right. So once that change has been made, this is my favorite part.
So make sure you hit save after you've done that. And with Cloud Documents, auto saves also.
Yeah, Cloud Documents are auto saving. So when the change is made in the source document for your design system, for your the things that you just kind of reusable assets. I actually have a little sort of master style sheet, for all my presentations I sort of pull from.
So once you made those changes, the cool thing is when you see that blue badge and extending.
And I'm sort of in the you're missing a piece of the UI. There we go.
So once you hit the linked symbol, blue badge, you can preview the change. Oh. And the beautiful thing is, as you can see right next to it is the one that we kind of made overrides on. Yep. So XD remembers and it makes the changes. Keeps your overrides. It brings in the changes to the things that you have not touched, which are the same in the master.
Yep.
So you can
cool.
You can click on that and accept the change, and there
now
you
you're
go.
back in sync.
Right. So that's kind of neat. Any number of people once you've shared this file with them through our invite feature, you can share it with. And actually, why don't I invite you, Talon?
Yeah, invite me to this. Yes.
There. So yeah, as I can control the design system on my end, even Talon can control it. So one of the great things that we're doing at XD is we're using this stuff ourselves. And Carmen, who is one of the talented designers, who's kind of helping us stay on top of this. So let me show you. Oh, no, not this.
The secret is that we are always working on the latest and greatest builds, and so some of our files have some new features in use, and so they don't. We open up.
It's kind of like a little bit crazy. We have the latest and greatest builds that we're testing. Then there's the internal release build that we're testing with
testing as well,
beta users or whatever, and then there's the public build. So I feel like I'm DJing between the two a lot of the times.
No, it's hard to keep track sometimes, and then you'll open up a file in one place, and then all of a sudden it's it can be you can't send it to someone else who's not using the same build you are. The life of an internal designer here at Adobe.
It's kind of exciting though.
It's like
so
it's
cool. Nice to have like that little secret that you hold.
Yeah.
So this is our internal XD design team, kind of like a sticker sheet or design system, UI kit that we refer to when we want pieces that we want to use in our designs. And
design new features. This is the file where we can all hopefully stay up to sync, stay up to date.
The cool part is that we're all we're a team of like about 14 people.
Yep.
And we all can contribute to this file and go in, and if one of us has like say edited a little bit of a feature, we can all go contribute to this file, and everybody else can pull from this file. So like if you take one of the toasts that we have and you paste it into another file, did it bring?
I actually don't think she made a component.
Oh.
Our Carmen has been working very hard to keep this up to date.
I might have actually. I don't want to mess with her file.
Yes, I was going to say.
I'll take something that is already
a
component.
So Howard also, of course, he's been making such amazing videos, and he has access to all the features like earlier than everybody else too. And he was saying that he's never opened a top secret one live on air by mistake. Howard, I'm pretty well known for that. That's really my MO. So I don't know if that was like a veiled.
Wait, I didn't know this was top secret. It's not a secret. You guys see it every day. It's the app.
No, this is the app. Yeah. No. Every once in a while, somebody will be like, "What's that other icon?" I'm like, "Oh no. You weren't supposed to see that."
See, you called it out. Now people are gonna look. So the nice thing also is that you can bring in just like the one element.
Just the one. That's right, because we still have. That's a good thing to point out. You can do the linked asset workflow instead of bring in like all of the elements from your UI kit, or you can just copy paste just components, and they'll also behave in this way too.
And one thing we kind of do to help you keep track of where these things are coming from, if you click the left-hand side drop-down menu, you can see the names of the files from where this is coming from. So as you can see, I posted in some elements and they came in.
Yeah.
Same from Fantasy Sports.
So you can kind of filter that.
Right. And if I want to remove this, I can click and this just becomes an object on canvas and not a component. Same way I can do that with Fantasy Sports.
Oh, that's way cool.
And can I undo and bring it back? I can.
Okay. I didn't know. Totally look at that. We're learning things ourselves. That's amazing.
Yeah, if you accidentally delete it. So yeah, that's the way to get rid of or filter down by the source that you've created. This is another powerful thing. You can link to as many sources as you want.
Often you can like particularly if you say we're doing like something for the mobile like for mobile XD, we need some iOS elements. You're pulling from our style guide and design system. And then pulling in from some of the elements from kind of the iOS world, and kind of we want to make sure that we're staying in sync, right? So if any of those change, then our design is automatically up to date. I love this feature. I kind of we've talked about a couple different terms here. We've talked about style guide or UI kit or design systems. Like what workflows were you and Sharif, who was the PM on this and the engineering team?
Shout out to Sharif. He's probably watching.
What use cases? Like, and that's kind of how we start a lot of our feature work. We really think about how are designers working, what types of things are they trying to do. What were some of those use cases that you and the team were thinking about as you were building this feature?
I think one of the biggest use cases we were thinking of was being able to support design teams maintaining a design system and being able to work at scale and having one person being able to. Usually that's what ends up happening in design teams. There's one person who kind of controls the design system, and in our team, to some extent, it's Carmen. Yeah, Carmen's but there are people; those who are individual contributors to that team. So I think that's kind of what was kind of propelled this workflow. Also, one of the big things, I think it was also your vision in the sense of making linked symbols extend that workflow into a bigger realm through cloud documents. And I think that's when we first started evaluating what the use cases would be. And you came in and you were like, linked symbol, what can we do more with link symbols? That's where this kind of started taking shape. So that's kind of where we started. But I think the most time that we spent on was thinking of the edge cases. It's like we knew what the flow was going to be. There were some chinks that we had to figure out, but after a while it was more figuring out the edge cases of like, what can you do when you right click? So like, and if you can you delete some assets? Can you add some assets? Can you, like one of the things I was just about to show is, reveal component in assets, so it goes and highlights the asset that you might have
that you have selected and shows it.
So it was one of the smaller, and it's interesting because during the development of this, a lot of the engineers would be like, "So this is supposed to happen, right?" And I've made the designs like 2 months ago, and I'm kind of just like, "Wait, let me open this slide, this slide number." So I think that was one of the. It was more figuring out the edge cases, so we don't corner the users into a scenario where they're like trapped by.
Well, I think there's, again, one of the things that I always try and help with is like trying to make sure that we're building like really like clear patterns of work, right? That we can sort of build on, and instead of like and what I love about this feature that I think the approach that you and Sharif and the team really took was thinking more broadly, like thinking about design systems, but in the end of the day, it's all really about collaboration, right? And so what's great is there's this pattern now established to like being able to link to a source of assets or reusable content like that lives outside of a document. And if they're, you sort of stay subscribed to those changes. So if there is any change, again, like you can see as a designer, and the change isn't just going to happen automatically. You can actually sort of assess the change kind of before you accept it. And then when you accept it, it doesn't change any of your work, right? It doesn't disrupt any of your work. And I think, a lot of our learnings in the past, when it comes to, other applications that we've used or worked on, I think that was like the really important part of this is how do we help people collaborate much more closely together and stay in sync, but make sure that it's not disruptive. Make sure that the person who is linking to the design system file or the UI kit or the style guide or what have you, that they feel like they have, that their work's not going to be affected with some change that's made and then they're not really aware of it.
Yeah. And that's definitely like, another thing that you can do is even if you brought in all these assets and at some point you decided that you were kind of like wanting to go on your own in a direction that you didn't want to stay associated with the design system, on Canvas you can unlink the component and this becomes an object for you to play with, and it can become a local asset that you can work with, and then you can add it in as a component again.
And start to kind of rip on your own.
Start to make changes on your own.
So where is this headed? So we've launched kind of phase 1 of linked assets. What are some of the things that you and the team are thinking about next? Like, where do we go from here with linked assets? What kind of things are you thinking about?
I think that some of the big steps that we do want to take is like being able to bring in more different kinds of assets into XD. It can be from different sources. It doesn't have to be another XD file.
That'd be really powerful.
Yeah, that would be a nice direction to go in, just to make it more versatile. We don't want you to be locked into just XD. If you wanted to even perhaps bring it in from even Adobe stock or go as far as even other UI kits available online that we can help you tap into. One of the big visions we have is to make design systems that are commonly used, like the iOS systems and Carbon and Google, be available on here, so that if the design system in Google that's public is updated, your designs get updated too.
That would be amazing.
That would be nice.
That would be really nice.
And also provide like more governance for people to be able to share and not like be able to prevent edits from not not everybody
Yeah.
to be able to make.
Yeah.
We're definitely
or to be able to make certain edits that don't like fundamentally break the component.
Right. And I think the beautiful thing about this system is it's relying a lot on the patterns that already exist within XD. And I think going forward, we'll try to extend this learning pattern onto other ways of bringing assets in.
Yeah.
We have ideas.
We'd love to hear your ideas. You know, like as Tin Can Dream is sort of saying here in the chat, like one of the things that we love most about building XD and designing XD is really like getting direct feedback. You know, everything that we do is based on research. You know, we're out there with our researchers, and we're getting out there and finding out the ways in which designers are working and how their work is changing, and really using that to sort of guide where we're going with our roadmap. And of course, we're releasing monthly updates so that we can be very responsive. And of course, we're constantly sort of getting direct feedback, and that's really helping us again, like iterate very quickly and to build great tools alongside of the designers who are out there doing amazing work. And that's what really gets us excited.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Shoot us questions if you have about linked, if you do have questions about linked assets. Yeah. I think one small thing that we forgot to mention is, what if you already have linked assets, but you wanted to add another file for linked assets?
Oh, yeah.
You see this little plus button right next to assets. It's kind of like when you're trying to add a color. So if you want to add in more assets, you hit that, and it brings up this Cloud document organizer from where you can like bring in assets that are shared with you. So the file that I shared with Talon would show up in shared with you for him, or from Cloud documents and link to any other.
Super handy.
Yeah. I think this is the one workflow that I use the most, is the Cloud documents one, because I'll work on one version of a project and then I'll have to work on an iteration of that project, and I'll just want to bring in all the assets from that specific project because I've made a small collection of the things that I want to use. You don't always want to use the entire thing. Design system.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, much more to come on this, and I'm really, again, congratulations to you and the squad for getting this out there into the world in phase 1. And thank you all for joining us. It's always such a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you.
And it's probably the favorite part of my week, sort of spending it here chatting with all of you. If you have questions, you can always hit us up on Twitter at Mr. Talon, at G to the G.
Yeah, you remember it better than yeah.
And so we always love seeing the great work you're doing in XD, and let us know what you're thinking about linked assets or any of the new features in the May release. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Hey, sweetheart. Damn. There's some things I want to tell you.